Good morning, everyone. My name's Hank Suttle. I'm the Sonic Shaman, and I start chuckling because almost every time I go live, as soon as I hit the live button, like the same friend always messages me, and it's just like I'm streaming, dude. So I'm gonna just message him, and then I'll make this public. This is so interesting, isn't it? Uh, So if you get value out of these streams, I ask that you just take a moment and contribute however you can, whether it's by sharing the video, starting a watch party. There is a link in the comments to the YouTube channel. It certainly helps me out if you subscribe and comment over there. And let me not forget what I was doing because that happens a lot. Okay, here it is. Make this public real quick. And also, while I make this public, just so you are aware of the way that I'm streaming, if you're commenting on my page, Sonic Shaman, my profile, or my YouTube channel, I'm seeing it. If you're commenting in the group, I'm seeing it. If it's on any other page, it's like a cross post, and those comments don't roll through to Studio because, you know, I like to interact with you as much as possible. So if you do want to interact, please make comments over there. So today, the thing that's kind of on my mind is filters, and there's going to be kind of a little extension. Eat more oranges. Interesting. Well, actually, that's very relevant because people who have good vitamin C, vitamin D, all that good stuff, it's definitely healthy. But we're going to be talking a little bit more about stuff like that on maybe the stream with Dr. K, but not today. Anyway, this is just a random Coffee Connect because what's in the air is Reiki. And whenever I'm teaching somebody, just doing an attunement for someone, and I always like going out to nature spots, but there was a great awareness that occurred to me with Reiki energy. Is that if Reiki had been discovered in Peru, it would have been called Sami or Kanchai, which just means light, or Kanchai refers to like the unmanifested light from the upper world. And why is this important? Filters. Having the awareness and understanding that other people and other like friends, family, and everything, they're all looking through the eyes of filters, all these different glasses. And this is what I talked about last Sunday on the Fireside Chat with Fellowships of the Spirit. You can check out their Facebook page, and I go into a lot more detail about it. And I'm also going to be putting that on my YouTube channel tonight. But it's really important to look at everything, that everything is looked at through filters. Everything is tainted based on other people's points of view, based on other people's judgments, definitions, conclusions, based on their entire experience. So if you think of the body like a prism, the body and the being are like a prism, and you have that divine spark inside. That divine spark is what feeds your animated essence. It feeds who you are, right? And it's being fed from source energy. It's being fed from that little divine spark where we're all one. As soon as it hits the body and the being, it hits the prism of your experience. And you have all these different colors, this different this rainbow of energy of all these different qualities. And this is metaphysics. You might think of the seven rays. Each ray of energy has a certain quality, and there's skilled and unskilled applications of these energies. And the whole idea in the metaphysics is you refine your inner work, you do everything, you work with your shadow, and you bring that prism, that rainbow of energy, you start to be able to bring it back to that same white light expressed. So if you think of us like a prism, light comes in, light filters out, and all these different things. We're very skilled in some areas of our life and unskilled in other areas of our life. But as we refine who we are in all these things, as we take those glasses and those filters and are able to remove them and be able to perceive, know, be, and receive in the world without these filters and different things like the stained glass that takes all the energy coming in and taints it a little bit from things coming into our field, you're able to express that same divine light into the physical world. And when we remember that these filters are what causes people to choose the things that they choose, sometimes it gives us the ability to be in a place of non-judgment. Because with Reiki, it was through the lenses of a Japanese culture. That's why it's called Reiki. That's why it has some of the symbols that it has. If it were discovered in Peru, it would have been looked at through Peruvian culture, and they would have called it something else. If it was discovered in India, it would be called something else, and so on. So just having the awareness that everybody is 100% right based on their point of view. And if we get around that and stop arguing about who's right about what, we can start to celebrate the differences. Because maybe the people in Peru would have gotten a nugget of wisdom that the folks in Japan didn't get, or vice versa. And that's what the tradition of cross-cultural shamanism about, the Katari tradition. It's about celebrating the differences. Even amongst 10 different groups practicing the exact same tradition, they would never make each other wrong for calling in a different direction. You know, like in my tradition, we would call Pachamama in the South. But in one of the coastal traditions, they call them Mamacocha. Makes sense. They're right by the ocean. The ocean is more of a thing for them than somebody up in the mountains. But is one or the other wrong, or is it just different? And when you can start to celebrate the differences, they say that the gold is in the differences. And they would get really bent out of shape if you were to start comparing away their information and their culture. I'm talking about the Keros of Peru now. That if you're they're talking about Apu spirits, which are mountain energies, and someone says, "Oh, that's like our guardian angels," the Kero will be like, "No, your angel is an angel, and Apu is an Apu." Oh, there's Kim. Kim, was that you talking in Facebook? I'm just curious because if you're talking in the group, there is like a little link that you have to click in order for me to know who you are. Otherwise, you come up as like this mysterious Facebook user. And then we have Kim saying, "Heck with oranges, drinking my coffee." That's what I got too. I got my little coffee thing, though there's a little bit of green in it because you can see like the green screen is like projecting some sun right in the middle of the German language school logo. Warm blessings from Mary Lee. Is that because I picked the sunrise for my picture? That's pretty cool. I figured that'd help people wake up if I pick something nice and illuminating like that. But the whole idea of filters has been on my mind a lot lately. One today because I'm doing a Reiki attunement, and I always like to when I teach it, even if it's just like an attunement and a really brief teaching, I always like to point out there's all these filters. And instead of getting caught up with who says what and what's right and what's wrong, what do you know, right? What do you know? And what I always look at as Reiki or any attunement process is we have everything within us. It's just a matter of remembering what's what and sometimes re-resonating a particular energy. And that's what I view as an attunement. Somebody comes in with a particular frequency, they bring that into the person, and that chord within them, just like a guitar string that resonates and matches that note, starts to vibrate, and they can start to notice it a little bit more. If they start to use it, what happens? That vibration increases and increases. So that's in a sense my point of view of an attunement process. Interestingly enough, with Reiki specifically, the original attunement process, it was cultivated. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can attune people. The original way is Dr. Zui they sat in a circle and he just ran energy in a circle. And you did that for a long time, and that would attune you. And then they developed a more robust process and things. But don't get caught up. There's not just one way. Yeah, and she said, "I did not comment on Facebook. I thought I would try YouTube Live. It's working out great." Well, thank you for being here, Kim. I really appreciate it. We got Eggman Rock Cultures. Happy Friday and have a rockin' weekend. Cool. Speaking of rockin' weekend, Goddess Elite, Melissa Wiles just came back from the gem show and brought all kinds of rocks with her. In fact, I bought one little guy, my little new skull. He's green, so you can't see him. He's disappearing into the green screen. So I have to turn the green screen off if I want to show him off. So that's fine. We can do that. We will stop the live stream magic for just a moment. All right. Well, now you will be able to see my little buddy. And I wanted him because he has this little spot in the top of his head, and it looks like another piece of stone was like kind of lodged in there. But he just seems so cool, kind of like a little ET energy for me. So I had to pick him up. There's one other one that's kind of on my radar too, this beautiful piece of Chinese fluorite. If you guys don't know, I never thought I would be into skulls really. And I got one years and years ago from Goddess Elite when it was the old owners. And that was the only skull for a long time. And he was kind of out of my awareness for a while because I was working on a client, and Spirit said, the skull told me, "I have work to do with them. You need to let me go home with them." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I just got you. Like, I got work to do. I'm like, all right. So I just kind of gave them to my client. I'm like, "Hey," he says, he's got work to do with you, and bring him back when you're done. And like 7 years later, they brought him back because he was done. And then as soon as he kind of came back, all of a sudden, or maybe a little bit before that, I just started having like a fascination with skulls and started collecting little ones at first. And then now I have a bigger skull for every spot on my mesa. So it's pretty cool. Oh, Kimmy's saying, "Good morning. Thank you for the added insight. I'm really looking forward to receiving the attunement today." Yep, Kimmy is actually the one, since you brought it up. That's where what we're doing. And Dr. Zui, when he first, so this is like your little pre-lesson, Kimmy. That's kind of because filters came to mind and I wanted to talk about it. When he went to receive the energies or whatnot, he went up to a very high mountain point that was a sacred spot. And this is very much like my tradition, the Paco tradition of Peru, when you are looking to attune someone to an energy, you don't like do it in a room and like drum and stuff like that. You go to where the energy is naturally present. You want to connect to the wind, you go to a spot where there's a lot of wind. You want to connect to the earth, you go to a cave. You go to these places to connect with the energy because it's naturally present, and you're imprinting your energy field with that energy. And the other part of it is you're kind of being imprinted from the shaman that's with you, that's doing the initiation. And our tradition, we do it the Hatan Karpai, the great initiation. So he goes up into this mountain that is of sacred site, and all he had with him was like rocks, and every day he would throw a rock away. And I believe it was on the 21st day that he had like the vision of the symbols and everything like that. But what was special about the place was that he went to a sacred spot where people go to meditate. And in the Paco tradition, we would say that this creates a waka. It's like a natural eye, a door. So when I do my Reiki classes, there's two places I love to bring people. For one of the attunements, I like to go to Unity Spiritual Center because they have this amazing labyrinth. Granted, it's going to be hard to walk the labyrinth in the snow, so she'll have homework to go back and do that because there's a chakra balancing effect that occurs when more than chakras. There's a huge benefit depending on the labyrinth because there's different types. But this particular labyrinth, the way that you walk it, in the mindful way that you do it, it's a balancing of the energy centers, like not just chakras, but all kinds of different things. And where was I going with that? Oh, so, and the other place that I like to take people to is Holy Love Ministries. There is a place where the visionary there has saw apparitions of Mother Mary. And I'm not Catholic. And when I first scouted that spot out for the shaman program, I thought this place is, I heard the stories, and I'm just looking for a place that has masculine and feminine energies. And I was one of the only people there that day. And they took me on a tour of the whole facility with my son, Max. And they bring me into this room that's usually locked unless they have a volunteer, called the Relic Room. And I walk in there, and this is apparently where there was an item from Mother Mary that ported into the visionary. In my head, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know about all this. And then this wave of energy hits me, and I just start crying. And I just had this huge connection with it. And I'm like, well, I don't know what they got going on, but it's definitely something. But when you have a place like this where a lot of people go to, and a lot of people are praying to the upper world, and they're connecting with Wiracocha, which is creator, it creates this space, like this portal of energy where the energy is naturally present. Dr. Uzui went to the top of the mountain because the energy was naturally present. We're going to Unity today to do the attunement because the energy is naturally present there. So yes, I'll do the attunement. Well, the way that I do it is I do one the way that I was taught, because keep it textbook. So if someone says that they've been attuned to Reiki, like they've had the traditional way that the attunement is done or whatever. But I also do with my Mesa, just calling in all the healing masters, Dr. Uzui, all the other people who got the same information around the same time through a different set of lenses, call them in and say, hey, do your thing here, and bring their energy in and just pakui it down through the top of the head, down into the being, and resonating all those chords of energy. So that's kind of like the shamanic way, the Hank way. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Love to see a group, especially when I don't say that I'm going to be on. It's always fun to see people tuning in and whatnot. At 10 o'clock, this will be a shorter stream because at 10, I'm streaming with Dr. K. And today we're doing self-care, self-love. Your number one relationship is you. So if you want to stick around a little bit later too, we'll be doing all kinds of fun stuff on relationships and things. Any questions or anything at all? These are very informal. We don't have to stick to the topic that I was going to talk about. Oh, and then today on my Sonic Shaman YouTube channel, I think it's 7. Did I put it at 7? I have it set as a premiere video, the fireside chat with fellowships that I did last Sunday. And all that was inspired because I went down this rabbit hole of a conversation, a very polarized conversation, where I was so knocked off center. Like I reached out to a healer friend saying, help me. So it happens. It happens to all of us. And the important thing is that you notice, and then you take actions to get back to center. But that whole thing that really, and the thing is, when I got knocked off center, Spirit told me to ask this person a question. And I was really like, really, I'm supposed to ask him this? Because I knew it was going to be like this explosion of polarity. And yet I asked a question because I'm being guided to it. And I go through this whole thing and then have these awarenesses about the filters on a whole different level. Before it was a conceptual awareness. And then it became like a true, like, wow, this is like at a whole different level. I've had an experience with it now of being able to see how recognizing that someone's looking through filters can totally shift how you're receiving the information, where it's not going to polarize you and it's not going to charge you. And the turning point was they had thrown at me a quote from Osho. about being a warrior and we have to be like we have to rebel and stuff like that, the humanity. And it didn't sound like the Osho I knew at all. And then I looked up another like I looked up Osho's stance in the word rebel, and I read that quote in the fireside chat. But it's just like, you know, data is just data, and we project onto it all the labels and all the different things based on our own past experience. So what one thing means to one person means something different to me, and vice versa. And if we can really understand and come from the awareness of they're making 100% the right choice, and I'm using right in quotation marks because is there right or wrong? Debatable, depends if it's in the one-ality or the duality, right? But they're making 100% the choice that is best for them in that moment based on their experience, their past data, their judgments, their points of view, their conclusions, their expectations. And when you can take solace in that, the judgment of where they're coming from can melt away quite a bit because you're doing the same thing. We're all making the best decision we can in the moment. So cool. Any questions while I drink my delicious coffee? I stocked up from Trader Joe's, their winter blend and their little gingerbread mix. I bought like 10 things of each, but I'm almost out. I'm running out soon. Should have bought more. That's all right. See anything else going on coming up? Oh, also on my channel, 3 years ago, 2018 something, Michelle Falcone of Come Home to Your Heart, she put on a full moon meditation, and it was like a crystal skull meditation, and I collaborated. I came in and did a sound bath, and we also had Ron from Merging Hearts. He came in and did a Talking Goddesses because it was all for the goddess Kuan Yin that day. And after recording the sound bath, we like recorded a lot of footage in a studio and other places, and every week for 2+ years Michelle had gone into the studio and spent like a day editing this thing. And it is, you know, she's did such an amazing job. And I was just talking to Casey the other day saying, hey, I filmed this like so many years ago, I don't know if it's ever going to come out. And the next day Michelle emails the group or messages the group, say, hey, it's out. So it's on my channel now, or well, we came out on Wednesday, but this is it this Sunday now? Oh, I forget. I have to check the message. But I'm going to be making a Facebook event. We're going to be me, Ron, and Michelle will be on a live stream, kind of talking about the event, and then we're going to show the event, kind of like as a premiere. Stop it about halfway, do questions and answers based on the video up until that point, and then let it finish out with the sound bath. So if you're interested in seeing it, it's pretty cool. And it's about the goddesses, it's about meditation. I talk a lot about the Paco tradition of shamanism, cross-cultural shamanism that I practice. They talk about crystal skulls and how amazing they are. You probably won't be able to see this one either. This is my Nocani Inca skull. He's a little bit green. This is a ruby, ruby and zoisite, I believe. I have to remember, but there's ruby in him. But he's my little Zorian, my little Nocani Inca skull. He's the only one that besides the new one, because he's getting to know everybody, the only one that doesn't live on my mesa all the time. So all kinds of good stuff coming out. Grand Rising, love and blessings. Thank you, Becca, for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Becca got to see the sneak peek of my fireside chat. I sent her, like, I hardly ever write things down to like do a talk first. So I sent her what I was going to write or talk about. And then she asks, do you always like write everything you say? And I'm like, no, I usually don't. It's very unusual. And then when I got on the live stream to do it, it was completely different. I think there was like 2 things that I kept the same. Because once you get in the flow, you just go, right? But it was really important because it was such a polarized topic for me. My concern was that as I talked about it, like, what if I kind of get sucked down that rabbit hole again somehow, like not intending. So I wanted to really write it out. I might make it a blog post somewhere. I have to think about it because I don't have a blog on my current website anymore. I just did a soft launch of my new site, hanksettle.com, and now I'm working on the Sonic Shaman and bringing that up to speed because I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff in the public eye. So I wanted to redo my site a little bit more for a global focus than a local focus. So it's going to be a lot of fun. How much fun can we create together? Anything going on in your minds? Questions, comments, can go anywhere you like. What flavor coffee do you like? No, you can keep it more esoteric and spiritual if we like, but there's really no wrong comment or question. I should have my flute here, but I don't. because I feel like playing now, but I don't have any flutes with me. They're all at the office. It's too bad I can't just change my green screen and be like, no, I'm at the office. Let me go grab my flute. I mean, I can change the green screen. Oh, now I'm in the office, but my flute's not really there. Well, I mean, it is there, but it's not really the picture that I can just go grab. But it would be nice if it was. This is how my sound baths look, guys, when we can do them in person. I set all the things up. People lay down. They bliss out. Lots of fun. Get on, go full on Shinamina. I'm going to do a virtual version. I got like 20 plus feet of green screen that I can put all the bowls in front of and things, and then I can put like the background as space or doing a mountain view or whatever, and have a little bit of fun with that. Let's see. Anything else? So maybe we're just done. Give you a 2-minute warning. If you have a question, if you have a comment, if you want me to go anywhere in our conversation, ask and I shall go there. And if not, that's cool too. Or topics you want me to do a lot more content around. I've been teasing these for a while, but I do have this one coming up, which will be the 10 Illusions of Duality based on the book Communion with God with Neale Donald Walsch. And we got the 5 Attitudes of Godliness, also based on the books of Neale Donald Walsch. That was like one of my fundamental texts that really gave me a foundation for everything else, and an understandable foundation. And what I mean by that is anybody who studied Alice Bailey work, or like esoteric anything that they spend like 10 pages saying something that today you could say in one paragraph that make you want to bang your head against the wall. Neale Donald Walsch's work gave me context. So as I read stuff like that, I had some sort of framework to put the data so that I could make use of it. So that's always good. And then if you haven't seen this yet, it's on the Emergence of Being channel, not my channel, but we have A New World, A New Possibility. It was like a 12-hour and 60-minute live stream, all kinds of fun stuff in there. So definitely recommend going back and doing that. She's like, doing very well. Glad to hear that. Love the blog idea. See, but I'm more of a video blogger, but I should put it up somewhere because the text was good in and of itself. And I would love to have it live somewhere. I just have to figure out, well, I could do a blog on my store site that has a blog built into it. Because on my personal site, I'm just going to have like more of the videos and things. And then we have the fake Andrew, because I know who it is, really is now. But very excited about the herbalist chat coming up. Oh, yes. I don't know if I have that in the studio. Do I? I might have to switch, which is not a problem because that's going to go on the emergency. Oh, I don't know. Is it on this one? See, the software I have, you can actually have different studios for different brands and things. No, maybe I didn't upload it yet. But next Tuesday and Friday, they're going to be on twice. I just haven't scheduled the second stream yet because Facebook only lets you schedule them within a week. However, I'm going to have Brian and Mike on from the Healing Brew LLC. That's a local place down in Akron, amazing teas. And my favorite teapot came from there because I don't just drink coffee. I'm an equal opportunity drinker. I drink tea too. The only thing I don't drink is alcohol anymore because that is not something I can do safely. No, I don't like saying I'm an alcoholic because think of like language like this. In German, my wife is from Germany, so I'm just using a language comparison to this. Here we say, I am hungry. In Germany, you would say, ich habe Hunger, I have hunger. But here, but what does I am mean? Like, I am happy, I am joyous. It's about states of being. So to say that I am hungry, like, is your beingness hungry? Well, maybe you're hungry for knowledge or something like that. But really think about the words that we have and like the limitations of language. And when you're using it unconsciously, what are you really saying to the universe? And how much of what you say is conscious and unconscious? Because if you're consciously using a word and the energy you have under the word want is really desire, the universe responds to the energy under the word. If you're not consciously using the word, the universe is going to respond to like the collective, okay, what's this word really mean? So it's really important, speak everything with intention and be very clear at what the energy is underneath your words. So instead of I am an alcoholic, I say, I am Hank and I cannot safely drink alcohol. So I know it's a technicality, but it's how I view it. So my view is the only one that matters to me. Your view should be the only one that matters to you. So I'm excited about that too. And then there's a part of that was just, I saw Carol having a fair coming up. Carol Brokowski, I might be mispronouncing her last name, but she puts on a whole bunch of different psychic fairs in the area, and also used to be involved with the Seek the Light Expo down in Akron for at the John O. Science Center, which was the first big show that I ever did. And let me tell you, that was a learning experience because a lot of people running a big show, when people sign up for a booth, they oftentimes only look at, okay, so I paid $200 for the booth, so I need to make that back and some money or whatever. But a friend of mine, George Cox, who had done shows for a very long time, he had told me before I did my first show, he's like, whatever, however you do at the show, know that you really don't know how you did till 6 months, sometimes even 12 months down the road. So I go to do the show and I didn't break even. I didn't sell. Well, part of that is I also only had X amount of dollars of product. And if you want to make $400 in product or money back, then you really need like $2,000 worth of inventory to roll through that, right? But anyway, that's a whole nother business conversation. But I didn't break even, and I was thinking, oh well, this didn't go well. I might never do the show again. And then like 3 months later, 3 or 4 months later, somebody that I met at that show contacted me and said, hey, I got a group of like 8 people that want to take your master mixer class, which is an aromatherapy class I designed where it's like lab based. So you get all the aromatherapy instruction. And then throughout the day, we have breaks and you make your own blends. And so you get all the lab materials and all that good stuff. And so it's like a $350 per person class because it includes all the materials. And then they all bought like crap tons of oil. So I've had like a $3,000 day all from a booth that cost me 200 some dollars at a show that I didn't think went well at the time. So based on my experience now, never judge the day for what happened in the day. What seeds were sown now that are going to reap immense possibility and abundance later on. So the fake Andrew says, do you not, well, maybe let's see. Do you know of any spiritual holistic treatment centers in the area? I'm going to be job hunting soon. Just got to pass my licensure exam. I don't know of any offhand. The place when I went through rehab, I went through Laurelwood way out on the east side because I lived on the east side at that time. There is one lady that I'm connected to on Facebook. I will look it up and I will message it to you. I don't know. I think she's kind of more west and south though. And I don't remember her name. I'm gonna have to like go through my friends list and see when they jump out at me because I do know there's one person that I know that has some sort of holistic treatment center, but I can't think of it. But one of the greatest things is really get a person in the program that is not about the program and is about the work, and that's one of the. I kind of got kicked out of a lead meeting once, one of the last meetings I ever went to, because I was really big on, I didn't have a sponsor that brought me through program stuff or anything like that. I had this one MP3 and I posted it on my main profile. It was the Paul Fisher Big Book Workshop. And it's called Back to Basics. It's like it's a series of AA workshops where they bring through the information like they used to do it back when AA first started. And when AA first started, they didn't, before you would even go to your first meeting, you would go to 4 1-hour information sessions with a sharing partner. And at the end of those 4 sessions, you would have already done all 12 steps before you would go to a meeting. And then you would immediately be given someone to take them through the 4 information sessions. And so the things that have changed is like now people come into the rooms and they won't even do a 4th step for like a year and a half or 2 years. And it's like, it kind of blows my mind. So I have a lot of charge around that. And I'm really big on, you got to do your work. If you're just coming to meetings and you're not doing your work, you're coasting. And, old timers are soft now. So anyway, I would definitely have done the lead differently if I did it today, but it rubbed some people the wrong way, even though it really resonated with a lot of folks. And it's like, get busy and do your work. Nowhere in the book does it say you have to go to meetings, but that's a great place to find people to share with. And that's what it's really about. You give away what you received. You cause that change in another. And that's where the magic happens. And I just happen to have a lot of clients who are in recovery. So I get to work with people and get paid for it. So it's all good. But congratulations on passing your exam. And I will look up that lady and see if I can find that for you. Great conversation. Anything else on your guys' mind? I may come on the 14th, and I see it like on Facebook, everybody's telling their Valentine's Day stories. So maybe I'll come on Valentine's Day and I'll tell the story about how Anya and I met. That's a cool thing. She's like my high school sweetheart and for an exchange student. It's like, what are the chances, right? So maybe I'll tell that story. It's kind of fun. Has nothing to do with the rest of what I do, but if it's for Valentine's Day. Or maybe it does have something to do with the rest of what I do. I'm sure I can spin stuff. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, I almost forgot about this. My friend Joy, who I streamed with yesterday, she is doing this challenge. It's praise, which is placing radical appreciation in someone else. And you have to type that in. If you're looking at it in Facebook, you got to type in P.R. and whatnot. But she's doing this 11-day challenge, and it's free to join the group where they're doing live streams every day. And they are encouraging people to reach out and doing these gifts of praise to someone that you know. And one of my friends already, they joined it, they did it, and they messaged me saying, "Oh my gosh, it was such a great experience." I won't say what I said, but here was the person's response. And the person was just so touched and so happy that someone reached out to reconnect. And we're kind of taught like, I don't know, like I've always had awkwardness with being praised. And even at my job, it's like, well, you're praising me, but this is what you pay me for. Like, why am I being praised for that? And it's like you're being praised for the doing and not the being. Oh, so now I got it. That's what the difference is. Like we want to be praised for who we're being in the world, our true authentic voice, and not the things that we were taught to do in the world. And that's what this group is really. Thank you, Spirit. That was really good. I had not made that connection before. See? And now I have it on video so I can go back and listen to it. She said she still has to pass the exam, but as you say, in the ever-present moment of now, I am so happy I passed the exam. Absolutely. And sleep with the book under your pillow. No joke, I did that once in high school because I didn't know until college when I was in accounting that I'm dyslexic with numbers. So I would do the math in high school and the teacher would give it back and be like, all the work is like, everything's right, but my answer is wrong. And I was failing math. So I actually got the teacher's edition and I cheated to get through math class because I didn't know what else to do. It's like, I'm doing everything right. Like what's wrong? And they didn't identify that I had this issue. And I found that if I'm writing it down and it's on graph paper, like 1 digit per square, then I'm fine. But it wasn't until accounting class in college that I figured out that, that if you have transposed numbers, if you do one math problem, it always comes out to a certain number, and that's how you know you transposed a digit. So it was in accounting, the teacher that showed us that I realized like, holy shit, I'm like mixing my numbers up, and like no wonder I couldn't pass math class. And it's amazing that they didn't figure that out when I was in high school. But anyway, there was one test that I literally slept with this book under my pillow with the intention, like, just let my brain absorb everything. And in my dream, I was like studying. It was like a 20-hour dream, just studying, studying, studying. And I saw myself in the class taking the test, and every single page, or every single page of the test, I saw like the questions and I saw the answers. I saw me writing it down. And then when I got to school for that test, it was exactly like in the dream. I had studied for this thing in my sleep. So I hope that helps you, Fake Andrew. Prepare for your test. Sleep with it on your pillow with that intention. It worked for me. Why not for you? Right? And if there is a why not for you, everything that is, destroy it and create it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pot, call on shirts, boys and beyond. So we can do the clearing for anything. Okay. Well, I got 12 minutes before I'm supposed to be on with Dr. K, so I think I shall wrap there. Please check out, I will get that link real quick. I want to post that link for Joy's group because I feel very passionately about supporting that. Just in the one comment that I got of how much it changed somebody's life, it's like, man, this doesn't cost you anything but time. Like, please do it. Like, what, I say that all the time, it's your state of being that comes first, and the universe delivers to you opportunities to express your being through doing. And I actually put this in a meme somewhere, seeing if I can find it real quick. I posted it to my Instagram not too long ago. Oh, here we go. I love this. This is my synopsis of the universe I'm about to put up. And feel free to find it on my Facebook page and share, because I find this to be a huge key. So, source is all there is, all at once, in the ever-present moment of now. Simply choose whom you're going to be in creationship to your perceived reality, and the universe will deliver to you opportunities to express your being through doing. So who do you choose to be? And one of the ways you can express that beingness is by praising someone and seeing them for truly their unique, authentic voice in this world, seeing them for them, and not who they were taught to be. Let's praise each other for the divine beings that we truly be. So, with that, thank you so much for tuning in and chilling with me as I drink my coffee. And if you didn't know, all these are uploaded afterwards to like the podcasting networks and all that jazz. So if you want to listen to them, you don't want to watch them on YouTube, it's on iTunes, it's on Google Play. If you want to have Alexa play it, you have to call it the Sonic Shaman because apparently shaman's not correct. So if you say, Alexa, play the Sonic Shaman podcast, it will play and you'll get the most recent episode. So that's kind of fun too. So, but thank you so much. Stick around to 10 o'clock. Dr. K and I will be on with the relationship talk. And with that, thank you so much. We will catch you later.